I'm going with Ozzie Guillén, who, other than him being my dad, let's move that apart. Played 17 years in the big leagues, has success as a manager, and he's excited. He's like, man, we're gonna see like so and so and so and so. But so as a player, for the guys that have made it there,
he's a fan.
It's a fan. It's like, you're going to see the royalty, and then the guys that, there's guys that I have friendships with that I'm cool with. I'm gonna get to say hi that I haven't seen since they were Hall of Famers, and you grew up watching them. Pedro, Vladdy, and now these guys are sitting in the same, podium as someone like Tanny, because Tanny's always a guy that I was young enough that I was there, and that I knew that I was younger when he got in. But it's like when you love the game of baseball, when you get the HOF next to you, it's like you're the valedictorians of the world of baseball. You've entered this group of, and from the Latino guys, now it's a time when now it's normal, and I know you young listeners are there, when guys getting in, like for me, guys getting in now, it's like I expect it. I look at numbers, I'm like, oh, we're going to get, I'm predicting and I'm projecting, so-and-so's getting in this class and so-and-so. There was a time that we've never would have thought that Mariano Rivera would get in anonymously. Maybe even get in. Bullpen guy, Latino, Edgar Martinez, DH, Latino. There was a time that these guys were breaking barriers, getting into the Hall of Fame. From Roberto to Tanny, guys that, for you to be able to have guys get in and be it normal, you have to knock down those barriers. And those are barriers that are knocking down, and that's amazing. That's amazing because he was one of them, and he, those stories of, I think it's crazy how it's a big deal that you got to eat rice and beans.
And not only that, but that he came without a glove. And he didn't glove.
That's something that I think Wilson or Rawlings hears and they laugh, but it was the reality of it. It's something that these guys came there and it was a dream, and they've kind of built. It's crazy because they built what a Latino baseball player should embody and resemble and the prototype. Because I think everybody that comes back is like, okay, this is how you do it. I think when those guys came for playing, they were just like, they just went with the flow, and they could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Their careers could have gone just completely horrible, but these guys made something of it. Stayed in the game, raised a family in the game, and that's something that I think it's so important for legacy. And that's why I think that the sport has been able to grow so much, and we've had so many great stories because of that. Guys that, they laid a really good foundation to what the game of baseball was.
And that's something that I talked about yesterday with Adrian was now it's normal,
normal.
And I'm so happy that we've gotten to the point where, it's the first, Panamanian, the first this, the first that. No, it's now going to be the norm.
Yeah. I remember the time when, Roberto Clemente was like, even when I was a kid, he was one of the only guys, and that's why Luis Aparicio I hold to such a high standard because of Venezuelans. The Hall of Fame is something that, to many people, is something that you talk about. And, this guy's a Hall of Famer, but until you are there and you see it, and you say, and they put the flag on there, and now I think people are making a big deal, like, this guy's from this place, and that you should represent it, even from within the States. But I think that him going in, it just, two guys, Puerto Rican, Panamanian, are going in, but then these guys, because I remember a time like when Juan Marichal, you're like, wow, Juan Marichal's a Hall of Famer. Luis Aparicio, like, those are the only guys there. And then you heard rumblings like, oh, Pedro Martinez has the talent to eventually get the one there. Now they're there, and it's expected of them to be there.
The doors are open, and we're going to see many, many more coming up this very Sunday. We're going to see Edgar Martinez and Mariano Rivera. And
I think one of the most eclectic. My phone, I think, is one off. I think it's one of the most eclectic classes, because there was guys that actually the opposite of being what most Latinos get stereotyped as. Actually, very chill, quiet guys.
Yeah. Guys
that were very monotone. Guys that with one fist,
no flash,
one pump, one pitch, one swing, changed the game, the way that the game was played from their perspective. Two guys that dominated in their respective positions, and they were specialists.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting because, they're guys that not, a lot of guys, they weren't the flashy guys, but there's going to be a lot of support there. Mo's going in unanimously. Babe Ruth didn't go in unanimously. Okay, Ty Cobb did. So that's the respect that the game has for Mo.
Yes.
As, just in general. I think that he might not be obviously he's the greatest, I think he's the greatest athlete ever come out of Panama because of what he's done, to our respect to all the guys that come out of Panama. But for what he's done has been so special. In his position, there's no one better.
There's no one better. There's no one that
you can't argue
compares.
it. There's other guys that you can argue and whatnot, but it's close to New York. People are going to go there. And Mo was a guy that he was so good that even though you knew that he was your opponent, you kind of always wanted him to do it. Like if you got to the 9th inning, as a fan, you're like, well, he's gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
So might as well just cheer him on to do it. So I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be great for them to be there and what they represent for the game, and it's gonna be an opportunity for them to speak to the next generation of guys, because I think that now, you can't let that gap linger, especially for the younger guys, the guys that are rookies right now. Because the guys like Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, they're talking to just legacy. Hopefully nothing comes up in their careers that doesn't allow them to do that. But the younger guys, the Acuñas, the Tatis, the Vladimir Juniors, is to be that great, you have to really have a focus on years playing the way that you take care of your body. That takes dedication. Playing the game of baseball is one thing, and playing a lot of years is hard. But when you start talking about those numbers and 20 years in, because it's something that you really want to have with your heart, especially with the money that's out there. Some of these guys are playing through injuries. Most guys, like I'd be like, I'm out. If I was Pujols,
I'm done.
I say, give me half the money, I might go home. I'm being serious. Like, what else is there to prove for him to the game? And I know he's playing with me. There's nothing to prove. So those are the things that I loved. Pedro going out there with the Mets and pitching to like the last time that he pitched. Those are the things that I think that in greatness, because again, if it was for the money, they would have quit beforehand. They were rich. They were rich halfway through their careers. Now at that point, you're playing for legacy.